Welcome to Seacoast Real Estate Academy. In today's video, we'll cover all key terms found in Unit 11. Some key terms are repeated from earlier units. Be sure to check out the list at the end of the video for those key terms. Constructive Eviction. The actions of a landlord that so materially disturb or impair a tenant's enjoyment of the leased premises that the tenant is effectively forced to move out and terminate the lease without liability for any further rent. Covenant of Quiet Enjoyment. The covenant implied by law by which a landlord guarantees that a tenant may take possession of leased premises and that the landlord will not interfere in the tenant's possession or use of the property. Estate at sufferance. The tenancy of a lease who lawfully comes into possession of a landlord's real estate but who continues to occupy the premises after the lease has expired against the landlord's wishes. Estate at will. An estate that gives the lessee the right to possession until the estate is terminated by either party. The term of this estate is indefinite, and no prior notice to terminate is needed. Estate for years. A possessory interest in property for a definite period of time leased for a specified consideration. Estate from period to period. Periodic tenancy. A possessory interest in leased property that automatically renews from period to period, week to week, month to month, or year to year. Notice is necessary to terminate. Fixed lease or gross lease. A lease of property under which a landlord pays all property charges regularly incurred through ownership, such as repairs, taxes, insurance, and operating expenses. Most residential leases are gross leases, also called flat lease. Graduated lease. A commercial lease that contracts for preset rental increases over the lease period. Ground lease. A lease of land only, on which the tenant usually is required to build as specified in the lease. Such leases are usually long-term net leases. Holdover tenant. A person who retains possession of leased property after the lease has expired. The landlord may continue to accept rent or start eviction procedures. Implied warranty of habitability. A theory in landlord-tenant law in which the landlord renting residential property implies that the property is habitable and fit for its intended use. Index lease. A commercial lease that allows the periodic adjustment of rent based on a named index, such as Consumer Price Index, CPI. Law of Negligence. If a tenant or guest is injured on the landlord's rental property, the landlord and their agent may be held liable due to their responsibility to maintain common areas and comply with the Residential Rental Agreement Act. Lease. A written or oral contract between a landlord, the lessor, and a tenant, the lessee, that transfers the right to exclusive possession and use of the landlord's real property to the lessee for a specified period of time, and for a stated consideration, rent. Leasehold estate. A tenant's right to occupy real estate during the term of the lease, generally considered a personal property interest, non-freehold estate. Lessee. The tenant or person receiving the lease. Lessor. The tenant or person providing the lease. Net lease. A lease requiring that the tenant pay rent plus some or all of the property charges, such as taxes, insurance, utilities, and repairs. Percentage lease. A commercial lease, commonly used for rental tenants. Rent is based on the tenant's gross sales at the premises. There's usually a small base monthly rental plus a percent of any gross sales above a certain amount. Residential Rental Agreement Act. The state law that mandates delivery of habitable residential rental units. Obligations of the landlord and the tenant are mutually dependent. Provides tenant with rights and remedies such as the retaliatory eviction doctrine. Retaliatory eviction. Illegal eviction of a tenant that has exercised protected rights under the law. Sandwich lease. The sublessor's interest in the real estate. Security deposit. A payment by a tenant held by the landlord during the lease term and kept, wholly or partially, on default or destruction of the premises by the tenant. Self-help eviction. Illegal eviction practices used by landlords instead of lawful use of summary ejectment. Sublease, sublet. The leasing of premises by a tenant to a third party for part of the lessee's remaining term. Summary ejectment. Legal eviction procedure heard before a magistrate for removal of a tenant that has breached the lease terms. Tenant Security Deposit Act. The state act that regulates the amount and use of money that can be required as a security deposit and how the landlord holds that deposit. The maximum amount of the deposit depends on the term of the tenancy. Here's the list of key terms you can find in previous videos. If you like this video, feel free to share it with a friend. For more real estate education content, please subscribe to the channel. From all of us at Seacoast Real Estate Academy, thank you for watching.